Postgraduate education, or graduate education in North America, involves learning and studying for academic or professional degrees, academic or professional certificates, academic or professional diplomas, or other qualifications for which a first or bachelor's degree generally is required, and it is normally considered to be part of higher education. In North America, this level is generally referred to as graduate school. The organization and structure of postgraduate education varies in different countries, as well as in different institutions within countries. This article outlines the basic types of courses and of teaching and examination methods, with some explanation of their history. Types of postgraduate qualification. There are two main types of qualifications studied for at the postgraduate level: academic and vocational degrees. Degrees. The term degree in this context means the moving from one stage or level to another, and first appeared in the 13th century. History. Although systems of higher education date back to ancient Greece, ancient Rome, China, the Indian subcontinent and Arabian Peninsula, the concept of postgraduate education depends upon the system of awarding degrees at different levels of study, and can be traced to the workings of European medieval universities, mostly Italians. University studies took 6 years for a bachelor's degree and up to 12 additional years for a master's degree or doctorate. The first 6 years taught the Faculty of the Arts, which was the study of the 7 liberal arts: arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, music theory, grammar, logic, and rhetoric. The main emphasis was on logic. Once a Bachelor of Arts degree had been obtained, the student could choose one of 3 faculties: law, medicine, or theology, in which to pursue master's or doctor's degrees. The degrees of master and doctor were for some time equivalent, the former being more in favor at Paris and the universities modeled after it, and the latter at Bologna and its derivative universities. At Oxford and Cambridge, a distinction came to be drawn between the faculties of law, medicine, and theology and the Faculty of Arts in this respect, the title of doctor being used for the former, and that of master for the latter, because theology was thought to be the highest of the subjects. The doctorate came to be thought of as higher than the master's. The main significance of the higher postgraduate degrees was that they licensed the holder to teach. Definition. In most countries, the hierarchy of postgraduate degrees is as follows. Master's degrees. These are sometimes placed in a further hierarchy, starting with degrees such as the Master of Arts and Master of Science degrees, then the Master of Philosophy degree, and finally the Master of Letters degree. In the UK, master's degrees may be taught or by research. Taught master's degrees include the Master of Science and Master of Arts degrees, which last 1 year and are worth 180 CATS credits, whereas the master's degrees by research include the Master of Research degree, which also lasts 1 year and is worth 180 CATS or 90 ECTS credits, and the Master of Philosophy degree, which lasts 2 years. In Scottish universities, the Master of Philosophy degree tends to be by research or higher master's degree, and the Master of Letters degree tends to be the taught or lower master's degree. In many fields such as clinical social work, or library science in North America, a master's is the terminal degree. Professional degrees such as the Master of Architecture degree can last to 3.5 years to satisfy professional requirement to be an architect. Professional degrees such as the Master of Business Administration degree can last up to 2 years to satisfy the requirement to become a knowledgeable business leader. Doctorates. These are often further divided into academic and professional doctorates. An academic doctorate can be awarded as a Doctor of Philosophy degree or as a Doctor of Science degree. The Doctor of Science degree can also be awarded in specific fields, such as a Doctor of Science in Mathematics degree, a Doctor of Agricultural Science degree, a Doctor of Business Administration degree, etc. In some parts of Europe, doctorates are divided into the Doctor of Philosophy degree or junior doctorate, and the higher doctorates, such as the Doctor of Science degree, which are generally awarded to highly distinguished professors. A doctorate is the terminal degree in most fields. In the United States, there is little distinction between a Doctor of Philosophy degree and a Doctor of Science degree. In the UK, Doctor of Philosophy degrees are often equivalent to 540 CATS credits or 270 ECTS European credits. But this is not always the case, as the credit structure of doctoral degrees is not officially defined. In the UK and countries whose education systems were founded on the British model, such as the US, the master's degree was for a long time the only postgraduate degree normally awarded, while in most European countries apart from the UK, the master's degree almost disappeared. In the second half of the 19th century, however, U.S. universities began to follow the European model by awarding doctorates, and this practice spread to the UK. Conversely, most European universities now offer master's degrees paralleling or replacing their regular system, so as to offer their students better chances to compete in an international market dominated by the American model. In the UK, an equivalent formation to doctorate is the NVQ5 or QCF8. Honorary degrees. Most universities award honorary degrees, usually at the postgraduate level. These are awarded to a wide variety of people, such as artists, musicians, writers, politicians, business people, etc., in recognition of their achievements in their various fields. They are sometimes used as steps on the route to a degree, as part of the training for a specific career, or as a qualification in an area of study too narrow to warrant a full degree course. Argentina. Admission in Argentina. The admission to a postgraduate program at an Argentine university requires the full completion of a licenciado or ingeniero degree. Non-Argentine bachelor's titles are generally accepted into a master's and PhD programs when the degree comes from a recognized university. Funding. While a significant portion of postgraduate students finance their tuition and living costs with teaching or research work at private and state-run institutions, international institutions, such as the Fulbright program and the Organization of American States, have been known to grant full scholarships for tuition with apportions for housing. Degree requirements. Upon completion of at least 2 years research and coursework as a postgraduate student, a candidate must demonstrate truthful and original contributions to his or her specific field of knowledge within a frame of academic excellence. The master and doctoral candidate's work should be presented in a dissertation or thesis prepared under the supervision of a tutor or director, and reviewed by a postgraduate committee. This committee should be composed of examiners external to the program, and at least one of them should also be external to the institution. Australia. Types of postgraduate degrees. Programs are divided into coursework-based and research-based degrees. Coursework programs typically include qualifications such as graduate certificate, 6-month full-time coursework, graduate diploma, 12-month full-time coursework, master's, 12 to 24 months coursework, sometimes including a 6-month dissertation like the Australian undergraduate honours degree. Professional doctorates, which are usually more strenuous and of a longer duration than a master's degree, e.g., 36 months in duration. Research degrees generally consist of either master's or doctorate programs. In some disciplines it is acceptable to go straight from the undergraduate degree into a PhD program if one achieves a very good honors degree, and in others, it may be encouraged or expected or simply advantageous in varying amounts for the student to first undertake a research master's before applying to PhD programs. Research master's degrees may be still called an MA or MSc, like a coursework master's, or may have a special appellation, e.g., M.Phil. Doctorate programs may lead to the award of a PhD or a D.Phil, depending on the university or faculty. The D.Litt is a higher research degree for exemplary achievement. Admission. Generally, the Australian higher education system follows that of its British counterpart. Entrance is decided by merit. Entrance to coursework-based programs is usually not as strict. Most universities usually require a credit average as entry to their taught programs in a field related to their previous undergraduate. On average, however, a strong credit or distinction average is the norm for accepted students. Not all coursework programs require the student to already possess the relevant undergraduate degree. They are intended as conversion or professional qualification programs, and merely any relevant undergraduate degree with good grades is required. PhD entrance requirements in the higher-ranked schools typically require a student to have postgraduate research honors or a master's degree by research, or a master's with a significant research component. Entry requirements depend on the subject studied and the individual university. The minimum duration of a PhD program is 2 years, but completing within this time span is unusual, with PhDs usually taking an average of 3 to 4 years to be completed. Most of the confusion with Australian postgraduate programs occurs with the research-based programs, particularly scientific programs. Research degrees generally require candidates to have a minimum of a second-class 4-year honours undergraduate degree to be considered for admission to a PhD program. In science, a British first-class honours is not equivalent to an Australian first-class honours degree with a high grade point average. In scientific research, it is commonly accepted that an Australian postgraduate honours is equivalent to a British master's degree. There has been some debate over the acceptance of a 3-year honours degree as equivalent entry requirement to graduate research programs in Australian universities. The letters of honours programs also added to the confusion. For example, B.Sc. are the letters gained for postgraduate research honours at the University of Queensland. B.Sc. does not indicate that this honours is postgraduate qualification. Difficulty also arises between different universities in Australia. Some universities have followed the UK system. Professional programs. There are many professional programs such as medical and dental school require a previous bachelor's for admission and are considered graduate or graduate entry programs even though they culminate in a bachelor's degree. Example, the Bachelor of Medicine or Bachelor of Dentistry. There has also been some confusion over the conversion of the different marking schemes between British, US, and Australian systems for the purpose of assessment for re-entry to graduate programs. The Australian grades are divided into 4 categories: high distinction, distinction, credit, and pass. Assessment and evaluation based on the Australian system is not equivalent to British or US schemes because of the low marking scheme used by Australian universities. For example, a British student who achieves 70+ will receive an A grade, whereas an Australian student with 70+ will receive a distinction, which is not the highest grade in the marking scheme. There are also highly competitive scholarships for international candidates who intend to pursue research-based programs. Taught degree scholarships are almost non-existent for international students, so they are usually required to be self-funded. Degree requirements. Requirements for the successful completion of a taught master's program are that the student pass all the required modules. Some universities require 8 taught modules for a 1-year program, 12 modules for a 1.5-year program, and 12 taught modules plus a thesis or dissertation for a 2-year program. The academic year for an Australian postgraduate program is typically 2 semesters. Requirements for research-based programs vary among universities. Generally, however, a student is not required to take taught modules as part of their candidacy. It is now common that first-year PhD candidates are not regarded as permanent PhD students for fear that they may not be sufficiently prepared to undertake independent research. In such cases, an alternative degree will be awarded for their previous work, usually an MPhil or MSc, by research. Brazil. Admission in Brazil, a bachelor's, licentiate or technologist degree is required in order to enter a graduate program, called Postgraduate. Funding. The competition for public universities is very large, as they are the most prestigious and respected universities in Brazil. Public universities do not charge fees for any level course. Funding, similar to wages, is available but is usually granted by public agencies linked to the university in question. Degree requirements. There are two types of postgraduate: lato sensu, which generally means a specialization course in one area of study, mostly addressed to professional practice, and stricto sensu, which means a Master of Science or doctorate, encompassing broader and profound activities of scientific research.